Happy Thanksgiving to every one of you, unapologetics. So it is Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, also known as Black Friday here. So people are shopping like crazy, and we have a fantastic treat for you here in another episode of Unapologetic Conversation. So for today, it is my honor to introduce our guest. So our guest is one of my first speaker friends here in the United States. We met a little over a year ago in Kansas City, and we have become really good friends. We're both powerful speakers. I love her story. So her story is all about putting your heart forward. So she has built herself as, in her words, a leadership whisperer. So she whispers to leaders, right? And she's also created a book called being heart forward. But let's not hear it from me. I want you guys to hear it from you. Let's give a warm, unapologetic welcome to my dear friend, Miss Chaun Vaughn. Hello, Chaun.
Hey, Francis, how are you?
I'm good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
So before we begin, since we are talking about gratitude to gratefulness, I want to find out from you, what are you thankful for right now?
Well, given the time that we are in, I am very thankful and grateful for my health and, of course, family, and still having my family with me to actually spend some time with. Because 2020 has thrown us some curveballs, so I
must say,
excited about having my good health and family.
So the family is what you're grateful for, and I guess for me, it's the same, because when you think about it, there are so many things that were stripped away from us. I had so many trips lined up this year; all of them got canceled. But when I reflect, just the idea of having my family still there, that for me is like one of the biggest blessings, right?
Huge, huge, huge.
Huge. So I want to hear about your story first before we go, jump into this idea of talking about gratefulness. I want to find out from you, what is Heart Forward all about? I mean, what's like the philosophy of that?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to give you the whole backstory, okay, Francis?
Uh-huh.
So being Heart Forward actually is not just a way for leadership, but it is really what I try to live on a daily basis. Growing up in the family that I grew up in, very caring, very loving. No matter what people do or say to kind of put you off, you still want to extend that loving, caring personality and those characteristics. So believe it or not, my degree is actually in nutrition dietetics, but right after yes, after I graduated from college, I was kind of thrust into leadership roles. So I've worked in the clinical setting, the outreach setting, and then finally in the education setting, where I've worked for some really large school districts in Houston. Starting off as an area manager and then working my way up to being an assistant director for a fairly large school district. And so when I got to that school district, they had a great deal of turnover. And so I wanted to see what could I do to help with changing that turnover. So when I looked at how things were going and kind of the leadership styles of some of the people that I worked with, I knew that there had to be a change. So I implemented a program, a training program for all of the cafeteria managers and our cafeteria manager assistants to try to change how they were actually interacting with their teams on campus. And where that stemmed from was coming from a heart forward leadership place. Because I saw how they reacted to me being just who I am genuinely. And I'm not trying to say that I'm just the best person, but I try to make sure that I go out of my way to treat people with love and kindness all the time. And so I saw how they reacted to me, and then they were more receptive to a lot of the things that I had to share. And then I kind of implemented that into the training that we had throughout the year. And then I can tell you the following year, we were able to decrease turnover by 33%, which was huge. And it's all in being more heart forward when you approach people. And I think that if we take that idea and not only live it for work, because I do it for work because we spend a lot of time with those people when we're working with them, but I'm hoping that whole concept can kind of trickle its way into families. And then when we go out and we interact with people, and my idea, the great big thing that I want is for the world to just be like, okay, I am hard forward. Whatever it is, every single day, I'm going to live a life of being hard forward. I'm going to treat you kind. I'm going to love you regardless. That's what I'm looking for. And when you do that, you get so much more out of people.
So, heart forward, if I'm to understand this correctly, the principle is you present your heart forward, you put it first. And so, given this idea, do you therefore feel like a lot of people in today's society, they are not heart forward? They like to hide their heart, or has society programmed us to be more vigilant of our heart to the point that we are so vigilant we don't allow anyone in? Is that what it is?
Most definitely. Because one of the key principles in being hard forward is transparency. Guess what? A lot of people refuse to be transparent. They want to bring out their representative first before they get to know people. But sometimes you have to allow people in so that they will let their guard down so that you can get more out of them. So are people definitely covering themselves up? Yes. And I don't know why that is or what has happened or how society has programmed us to be that way. But you get so much more out of people when you just let them in. And I'm not saying they have to know your business, like, right? You don't have to tell them, yes, me and my husband got into it just the other night. No, it doesn't have to be like that. You just need to let them in to see who you are so that they will be more receptive to dealing with you or working with you, or in a leadership perspective, working under the leader and being okay with whatever the leader is asking them to do.
Oh, so that's a very powerful thought. So the idea is that you allow people in first before and they will allow you in, because I think the mistake of a lot of people is that they expect other people to let them in without you opening your doors first. So it's really an open door, open heart policy, right?
Exactly. And then if you're letting people in initially and then I'm letting people in initially, guess what? We're not waiting back and forth for somebody to let us in or working really hard to get them to open up to us. Everybody is open to the idea already.
Everyone is open to the idea. So I love it. Oh, thank you very much for sharing. I am grateful because our theme is all about gratitude. I am grateful for this powerful story, Chaun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So let's now jump into gratefulness, right? Because you are a leadership whisperer. I love that because I've heard of a horse whisperer and a dog whisperer. This is my first time to hear about a leadership whisperer, right? And in the context of gratitude, right? In your experience, how does gratitude help people break through, for example, in their leadership?
So I think first that people they need to understand exactly what gratitude is, right? So when you're looking at gratitude is pretty much your willingness to be thankful and to show that thanks or that appreciation to others. So and when you look at leadership, a lot of times a lot of leaders are operating from what I call that traditional style leadership, where I don't know, I've worked for many leaders like this, but where they are very strict about what they want, which is okay, but there's a way to go about doing that. Or they do not allow you to share your ideas, or they're not receptive to your ideas because, they're the people who know it all. That's that traditional style leadership that's making people leave left and right. So when you start operating from a stance of showing gratitude as a leader, that's what you need to do. What? If you are coming to work on time every single day and you're putting your best foot forward, I'm going to tell you, thank you. I really appreciate that because somebody else may not be doing that same thing. I want you to know that I recognize and I appreciate what you're doing. If you are putting forth the effort to go above and beyond in certain areas within your workplace, I want to tell you that is gratitude. I am thankful that you are doing that. And then in being thankful, I'm going to share that with you. So as a leader, you are going to get so much more out of your team members when they see that you respect and appreciate what they are bringing to the table. Now, I will say this. It doesn't mean that you ignore the things that they may not be doing right. You can still hear that, but you're still going to let people know that you are grateful for what they are bringing to the table and showing up every single day. That is how you get the most out of your team members. And that's how you get the most out of anybody. I'm gonna say that, Francis. When people know you appreciate them, you get that. And I don't know if you know, well, I know you know. Statistics show that when team members are surveyed, the one thing that they want the most from a company is not always an increase in pay or anything. They just want to know that you appreciate and respect what they're bringing to the table.
I love that. This word appreciate is something that I picked up a lot here in the United States because you know that I just moved here, right? And one phrase that I notice a lot of Americans use is the phrase "I appreciate you for that" or "I appreciate it," because that's not something that we Filipinos tend to use in our conversation. And for me to hear that word, "I appreciate it," you're right. There's a certain burst of energy that comes with that word. And one of the things that I've observed in people is that gratitude, the spirit of gratitude, is like pure energy. It gives them so much of a boost, especially when they feel appreciated. It gives them so much of a boost, and in the same way, the opposite is an energy drainer. The idea that when you focus on things that aren't present, that kind of sucks the life out of people. Don't you agree? So in your opinion, like between two people, right? You have a person who obsesses over what they don't have or what other people don't have, or between a person who acknowledges whatever they have, no matter how little, or they see the good in other people, no matter how little. Who do you think tends to go far, and how do you explain that?
Exactly. Because, and I'm going to tell you, when you live a life of gratitude daily, I promise, even though things may seem bleak, you never know how many doors you're opening, how many people you're helping, just because you choose to walk that path of gratitude and gratefulness. Because now other people are recognizing that. They're like, oh my goodness, what is going on with her or him? Why are they always so thankful? But that's because I have learned to take a step back and look at the things that I am grateful for, the things that a lot of people may take for granted. And so now that's opening the doors, because I'm putting off this positive energy, and I'm allowing people to see that, and I'm showing my gratitude to other people. So that's just opening that door to more people being receptive or calling you out. Just like you, Francis, I think that the fact that us connecting together, and we can play off of each other so many times, but I am so grateful to what you bring to the table, because you're always there willing to help. Just like while we were in the green room earlier, just you share so much, and I appreciate that, because now not only are you going to open doors for yourself, because I could go out and say, well, look, I just had this great talk with Francis, but that also helps to open doors for me because I've accepted that. So gratitude can take you a long way. Now, when you're not grateful, that's what people are going to see. They're going to see you as bitter. They're going to see you as this person they don't want to be around. So why in the world would I invite you to do right? Why would I want to spend my time around you? You don't even appreciate the great things that you have that I see that you have. So I think that, showing your gratefulness and your gratitude on a daily basis will take you far.
And I think that's really the power of gratitude. It emerges from your pores. There's no way to hide it. Like when you are a grateful person, it pours out. And I liked how you pointed it out, that a person who is not grateful, or a person who's obsessed about the things that they don't have, these are exactly the persons that you want to avoid. They tend to be very bitter. I mean, let's face it. Do you want to hang out with a Megatron? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. But it's the people who are very appreciative of everything. These are the types of people that we have a natural tendency to resonate with. And like what you said, it opens doors. I never thought of it that way. So thank you for sharing that with me. This idea that when you are grateful, it opens up unexpected doors. I just want to find out from you, was there ever a moment in your life where your spirit of gratitude opened the door for you?
Oh, yes. I think I've had multiple opportunities, and sometimes I have to step back and think like, oh my goodness, because I always wonder, how did I get this opportunity? Sometimes I wonder that, right? But when I look back, and when people kind of come to me after an event and they share certain things with me, I'm like, okay, so what I believe in, that's what other people are saying. That's why I was offered this position. I'm gonna tell you this: going into the speaker trainer area, I have not had to do a whole lot of marketing in a sense because of the fact that I have so many people that are referring me. And I believe that it's because of the gratitude that I show to them once they do, or what they've seen, how they've seen me interact with other people, and like, oh yeah, we definitely want to bring her in. So I think it's all about that gratitude, that heart forward mentality. I think that is what's paving the way.
So when you appreciate other people more, they appreciate you as well.
Yes.
I
And,
love
and,
it.
and I have to say this. I don't know if he's watching, but I have a friend that is very, now we went to school together and graduated together from Southern University. And we don't really talk a lot on social media, but I promise you that he is going to always share stuff about my business. And I always wonder, like, why is he doing that? He was like, I really appreciate what you do. I'm very thankful for the things that you do. So I'm always going to share. And he told me that just today. And I was like, wow, thank you. I truly appreciate that.
So, this pandemic, I think it's normal that a lot of people, when they look back at 2020, they're probably just waiting for this year to end, right? Right? Because let's face it, this wasn't a very good year for a lot of people, right? Many people lost their jobs, or even worse, many people lost loved ones, right? So
Yeah.
amidst this seemingly dark year, right, are there still things that we can be grateful for? And how can we find them?
Of course, there are still things that we can be grateful for. I just encourage people to just really take a long look at their lives right now.
Hmm.
Could it have been worse? Yes. But what along the way have you learned? Because I'll say this, which is, once we get to those tips, I think that um, gratitude is not always in the big things that happen to you.
Yes.
You can always experience gratitude through challenges. And through those challenges, you can see how you've kind of overcome that. So in 2020, did a lot of us possibly lose our jobs, or did a lot of us not have the income coming in that we normally have? Yes, we did. But have we learned new practices or trades through this year or time that has kind of helped to bring in some of that extra funds, or that has kind of set us on the path to starting a brand new business for us? Yeah. Yes. That we can look at it like that. Yes, I lost this, but this is what I gained, which is so great. And that's what I'm going to walk with. Could we have lost a family member? Yes. And I know a lot of people, even myself, we've lost family members.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But when you look at that family member's life, what were they able to pour into you that you can now carry on and be vigilant for them even after they've passed away? You have to look at the pluses, but also the challenges that you experience as it relates to gratitude, and be thankful for a lot of those things. So yeah.
I think I remember when 2020 started, when I was posting my inspirational post at the beginning of this year, right? I remember clearly that the thing that I was posting about was, this is going to be a year for 2020 vision, which means your path will be as clear as possible. And then early this year, it was like, what the heck? I mean, I thought this was supposed to be the year where we have 2020 vision, and now all of a sudden, the way in front of us suddenly seems like it's blurry. But you're right about one thing. When you look back into 2020, I'm sure so many of us picked up a lot of life-changing lessons as a result of this pandemic. This pandemic really taught us who we really are, because I think being stripped of so many of the things that we were comfortable with revealed to us who we really are without the frills, right? And that is something to be really thankful for. So I love this approach. Thank you very much for this approach of looking back in your life and seeing what are the lessons that you can pick up. So thank you for that, Chaun. Now,
so I have to ask you this, Francis.
Go.
Do you feel like your vision is still blurry, or did you actually have 2020 vision?
Yes, and that is exactly it.
It came differently than what you expected.
No, what's funny is that analogy that we were talking about, right? 2020 vision, right? You realize that what this pandemic did was that we actually had some blinders on, which made the vision not good. But being stripped of all of that, suddenly the direction that you want to go to is crystal clear.
Yes.
So, so things to be grateful for, right? So, one of the things that we always do in these unapologetic conversations is to give something practical, because one of the things that you know me for is that I love this statement: the surest proof of inspiration is to get shit done, right? So I don't want us to just talk about gratitude from the point of view of it's a namby-pamby warm feeling, but it doesn't really do anything. I want something practical, right? If there's a person out there, Chaun, who is struggling with seeing the little things that they're grateful for, that you should be grateful for, what advice would you give this person to just get them to do that first step towards gratitude?
Okay, so this kind of goes along the line of like mindfulness to me. So one of the things that I like for people to do, especially like when I'm working with hardcore people, when it relates to transparency, which you can now do with gratitude, is take about 30 seconds and list all of the things that you think are just horrible to you, happen to you. Just take 30 seconds and then list those. And then I want you to take 30 seconds and list the things that have just been great. For the most part, you'll see that you can come up with 20 plus things as it relates to the things that you are grateful for. And sometimes it may be a little bit harder to think of that many things of which you are not as grateful for. So I think that's one of the ways that you can do. Just take the time. A minute is all it's going to take. 30 seconds to write the things that you think are just horrible and you know that just happened to you. But then take 30 seconds to list the things that are just wonderful or that you're truly grateful for. And I think that will put you on the path to really recognizing, okay, it's not as bad as I seem, because I really had a hard time thinking about these bad things. But yeah, I can list health, family, the food that I have, a house over my head. It's just a ton of things that you can actually list and say that I'm thankful for.
So I love that. So the idea that we audit what we should be grateful for, right? We make a list of the small things that we can be grateful for. One of the things that I love about the Unapologetic Tribe is that I want people to become influencers of other people, and I think that's our role, Chaun. That's what we're made, where we're placed in this earth to do, to try to influence other people for the better, right? And this idea of gratitude, it seems like it's something that is not very common these days, because let's face it, it's hard to find gratitude amidst the situation that we have. But for the people that listen to us or watch us right now, what is the concrete advice that you're giving them so that they can infect other people with the spirit of gratitude? Pun intended.
We want to infect them, not with the bid, as Kevin says, but
not with Miss Rona, but with the spirit of gratitude. So, what will you do to make gratitude contagious?
So, it goes back to what I said earlier, as far as how I operate. Practice showing gratitude on a daily basis. I mean, I think it's just simple as that. When you come up to somebody, or maybe you meet somebody throughout the day and they made you smile, tell them that they made you smile. Thank you for making me smile. Or maybe somebody was there that lifted your spirits. Don't hold it back in. Express yourself. Let them know that they lifted your spirits. Why do we have to hold that gratitude in? Share that gratitude. That's how we're going to infect people. Because if you made me smile today and I didn't even tell you, then I can't infect you with gratitude, right? I can't do that. But if I am telling you that, Francis, this means the world to me. Thank you. You now know how you touched my life today. Now I can infect you with that gratitude. And if we would just take the time to really just be free with expressing ourselves with the people who have really made a difference in our lives, I think that that's amazing. I think my family members and my friends have to really be getting tired of me, because I will randomly send out text messages letting them know how they sappy text messages too, Francis, like
I've yet to receive a sappy message from you.
You're right. I need to put you on my list. But I mean, I send it out to them and I let them know this is how you made me feel, and I love you. I love you. So I think if we just practice showing gratitude, it doesn't have to be sappy like that, but just telling people thank you. daily. I think that that's how we infect others.
I love it. So before we talk about the special summit that you have, I have one last question for you. What is one concrete thing that you want the viewers to do immediately after watching our show today? What is the one concrete thing that you want them to do? Meaning when they finish watching this, you do it. What's the one simple thing you want them to do?
I want them to think about what has happened to them today
Uh-huh.
and either share a gratitude message via social media or something, or reach out to a friend or family member or someone who has touched them today and let them know. We're going to start practicing expressing ourselves with that showing of gratitude right now, because once you practice and you practice, it is going to become natural to you every single day. So do something every single day, and we're starting with that today.
So you heard that, guys and girls. Open up your cell phones right now and scroll through your address book and look for one person that you want to say thank you, because Chaun is telling you to do that right now. You don't want to disappoint her on that. You gotta do that, right? Okay. So Chaun, one of the things that you are very passionate about is really helping women, right? And from my understanding, you have some sort of a summit. You want to talk about that right now?
Yes, so coming up is the second annual Dreams Unleashed, and the SHE in Unleashed is capitalized because it's she.
Uh-huh.
For women, and this year the theme is Women in Action. It's really supposed to be a brunch, and we had a nice brunch last year, but because of everything this year, it's virtual. But this year we are going to tackle four major topics. This is to get us situated for the new year. This is us goal planning and setting for the new year. And the best way to do that is to have to look back over our 2020, see if we reached goals, if we didn't reach goals, and then what affected us or prevented us from reaching those goals. So this year I have some amazing women that are coming. We are going to be talking about, for the women who are really pushing for their businesses to be expanded, a social media expert and how you can work with social media. We have someone that's coming to talk to us about, she's called the 5-minute advocate, authentic activism. There's so many women who have a passion for things and they don't know how to really get that passion out, or how they can really help towards that passion. So we have somebody who's going to come and talk to us about activism. We have someone who is going to talk to us about effective networking. I am terrible at networking. And now that networking has taken a turn to virtual, how do we handle that now? So I'm really excited about that. And then the best part of this is going to be mental health. So we have a panel of mental health experts, mental health therapists, counselors, professionals that will be there to answer those questions that we have, or on how we're dealing with mental health during the pandemic. And once we get out of the pandemic, how do we go forward from there? So I'm excited. It's December 13th. It's all virtual. You can go to dreamsunleashed.online and
Dreams Unleashed.
.online.
Online, okay.
It's free. It's free. It's free. You don't have to pay a thing.
Is it that one on screen right now?
It
Dreams
is.
Unleashed online.
Online, yes. And join us and hear this panel of wonderful women.
So for the women in this group, the link is in front of you. You want to register for that. It's absolutely free. I have personally witnessed Chaun speak. She's a kick-ass speaker, and I'm sure the other speakers who will be with her here, they're also going to be equally kick-ass. So on behalf of us in the Unapologetic Tribe, we do want to thank you, Chaun. Thank you very much for spending this time with us. I am so grateful for this time to connect with you. And happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much, Francis, for bringing me on. I appreciate you so much. You will never know. But let's keep this movement going. We are going to infect this world with some gratitude and some heart-forward characteristics.
Infect the world with gratitude. And that's how we make the world great, because it's from gratitude we reach into greatness. So thank you very much. Thank you, Chaun.